Hi, I'm Ben with IWS, and today we're going to be sharing with you the Newmar Supreme Aire. We're going to give you a whole entire model overview of this thing and why it's really the best choice for a destination Super C out on the market today. We're going to be going over the exterior, all the mechanical systems, the chassis. We're going over the interior amenities and options and going for a drive. So to get this video started, I want to give you a little insight to who Newmar is as a brand and what they're all about. So Newmar's been around since 1968, and they've really made their name in the Class A motor coach world. They've been, since the 60s, one of the most reliable, dependable, highest quality, best customer service, and on top of that, one of the most innovative. In fact, they take credit for inventing the slide out, believe it or not. One of the most unique features I would say about them is that since the 60s, all of their coaches get built on one assembly line. And so since the 60s, one by one, hand built. And who are they built by? They have a large number of Amish craftspeople and family members that work on their assembly line that have been working there for generations and generations. You know, when I've done a tour of the factory, you interview some of these people, they've been around there for 30 years. That's very common. People just love Newmar. They love working for the company, a very family-like atmosphere. And what's unique about that one assembly line is that they have a huge model lineup. One of their top coaches is the Newmar King Aire, and it's $1.6 million. And then their entry-level coach is a $200,000 gas engine motorhome called the Bay Star. All those coaches get built by the same people, and even this Supreme Aire does as well. Craftsmanship from top level all the way down is high quality. So why did we at IWS choose Newmar as a brand? We've been a Renegade dealer for so long. Well, one of the first reasons of many was because of our shared beliefs for continuous improvement, customer service, and respect for people. The second reason was, in the Super C world, Renegade has been the only option for you as a high quality, high performance, reliable brand that could offer something of this stature. So there was just a ton of lack of choice. And ever since 2021, when Newmar released the Superstar and the Supreme Aire, they've changed the game and have brought a new level of innovation to this market. And when you factor those things in, their respect for people, their customer service, and their innovation, this was just a natural fit for us between Newmar and IWS. So in 2021, IWS and Newmar teamed up to launch the first ever Superstar and Supreme Aire. And that's what I have behind me today, is the Supreme Aire. The Supreme Aire is the flagship offering from Newmar between their two models. So this is the best you can get, and it sure is amazing. And just to give you some comparisons of where this falls in the Class A world, if you're a fan of Newmar or you know Class A's really well, the Supreme Aire and the Mountain Aire actually share the same amenities, design, and interior options. And that's where it would fit in pricing wise in the Class A market. So where does this fall in line with the Renegade product? Well, this competes directly with the Renegade Explorer. And one of the main reasons that is just due to the powertrain. They share the same engine and transmission, but, and they also share similar pricing. But where does the Supreme Aire stand out from a value standpoint is, well, first of all, is it offers 45 foot in length. It has way more floor plan choices than the Explorer. And also it comes standard with tandem axles. It has more towing capacity, 30,000 pounds. It has better interior choices, better paint finishes. It has more cargo space. There's even more technology in some aspects. So the Supreme Aire is really a great value, and one of the number one coaches we think there is out there in the market today for a true destination experience. So now that we know all these things, who is the Supreme Aire for? Who are we selling them to? What are our customers saying? What is the general use case of it? Well, I believe there's two separate categories of customers for the Supreme Aire. Number one, I would say, is people that are coming from the Class A world already, or they're big fans of Newmar already because they love their customer service. They love the destination experience that they offer and the reliability of them, but they want the capability of a Super C like this on the Freightliner chassis. Number two would be somewhat of the flip side where, hey, you know what? I've come from the Super C. I have a Renegade or a show hauler or something like that, and I know what it's all about. You got me on the Super C, but I want a better interior experience. You know, hey, I'm staying in Florida for 6 months. I'm going to Scottsdale. I need something that's just a little bit more comfortable and something that's going to match the same interior quality as my custom built home. And that really is what the Supreme Aire offers for you, is just a no compromises, a one size fits all type experience. The Supreme Aire is built on the Freightliner M2-112 chassis, and this is the most capable M2-112 chassis we can get our hands on. And throughout this video, I'm going to be going through the specs of it, but I want to give you a little context of why I say this is the most capable. Well, we come from the commercial truck world. IWS stands for Idaho Wrecker Sales, so we're constantly selling these trucks to towing customers. And one thing you won't know about commercial trucks is that the spec sheet is a la carte. There's thousands of options you can pick. You can make this as basic of a chassis. There's multiple powertrain choices, so many different things about them. And this is the most well-spec'd M2 out there, hands down, even on the commercial truck side. Starting out, this has the Detroit diesel DD13 engine with 505 horsepower and 1850 foot-pounds of torque. It also has the Allison 4000 transmission. And stopping there for a moment, while you're learning about these chassis, you're probably looking at other Super C competitors. And what's so important is that you really look at the brochure and the specs, because not all are created equal. Some competitors offer this chassis, but they actually offer it with a smaller engine, the Cummins L9 engine, and even a smaller transmission. This is the Allison 4000 that's built into this. That is the beefiest, heaviest duty transmission that we offer. So not all chassis are created the same. A unique standout for this M2-112 with Newmar, amongst other competitors, is not only the powertrain, but it also is sitting on a premium air ride cab. So this is the best riding coach that we have when you factor in the air ride seats and the floating air ride cab. We have a fixed leaf suspension up front, just like most trucks, but when you add those two things together, it really improves the ride quality. Also, we have a 100-gallon diesel fuel tank on board, and that gives me well over 800 miles of range, which is just unheard of. So I can just go many places on Earth without having to fill up. Constantly when we're taking our coach and I'm following in a pickup and trailer, our coaches beat our pickup and trailer all the time because we don't have to stop as much. And when we do stop, we're making a quick sandwich, we're using the restroom inside. So having that range is an absolute game changer. I want to talk about the differences between a commercial truck like this and a traditional RV spec that's out there. So not all Freightliners are created the same. So many Class A motor coaches have a Freightliner chassis that use a Cummins engine or a Detroit engine and an Allison transmission, but they get built in a completely different factory. It's called the Freightliner Custom Chassis Division. Versus this truck gets built on the commercial line. So when Newmar ordered this, they ordered it directly from Freightliner. They spec'd it out to the nines, and this truck had no idea where it was going. It could have gone out to be a long haul truck in the trucking industry. It could have been a tow truck, a dump truck. Um, it, it didn't know that where it was going. And what's unique about that is that this truck is built, and we'll get into towing everything later, for 58,000 pounds. And so it is built for drivers and people that make their living out on the road day in and day out, 8 to 10 hours a day, 24/7. So fundamentally, this thing's built to haul versus many Class A coaches that are out there out there in the world. While they share a Freightliner frame, they fundamentally are built different. They are only built for the house, and the driving experience is really a second, it's an afterthought. Versus something like this, when I say it's a high performance driving experience, what do I mean by that? Well, when I say commercial, some of you might be going, well, hey, I don't want to get into a work truck. Well, luckily Newmar's taken out all those things you need to worry about. It has the bones and structure of a commercial truck, but the seats in this are incredible. Their air ride, the air ride cab, the upgraded stereo, the steering wheel upgrades. This thing drives wonderfully. And when you're out on the road taking your family and you're going from Portland, Oregon to Portland, Maine, this thing is something you can drive 10 hours a day with zero compromises. It'll pull any hill 70 miles an hour, air conditioning in your face, stereo blasting. Like there's no excuses with this thing. It doesn't care what hill you throw at it, what temperatures you throw at it. This thing is built for the road. And that is why, if you're coming from the Class A world, you're going to be so impressed with what this is capable of. So I keep saying how capable this truck is. We talked about the powertrain and the commercial truck side, but I really want to prove it to you when talking about carrying capacity, towing, and these tandem rear axles. So starting out, just want to give you some perspective. Before we did this video, we went ahead and put this thing on the weight scale. This weighs 43,000 pounds. And to give you just some sort of perspective, your Ford F-250 weighs about 7,000 pounds. So this weighs significantly more. And the GVWR on this vehicle is 58,000 pounds. So that means Freightliner designed this chassis to go and haul 58,000 pounds day in and day out. The chassis doesn't care. The brakes, the powertrain, the suspension components, even everything on the interior was designed to haul 58,000 pounds day in and day out, 8 hours a day, 7 days a week. And many of these trucks, like the M2, they're designed to go to 3, 4, even 500,000 miles as I've seen them go. And the engine lifespan on this one is actually 1 million miles, or at least has a B rating of that. Tandem rear axles. It's a bit controversial out there in the Super C world because some people are saying, Ben, I don't need 15,000 pounds of cargo carrying capacity. I don't need 30,000 pound towing capacity. Like, I'll never get to those things. I'm going to tow our Jeep or our Bronco. I do very little of that. Well, there's so many more advantages to tandem rear axles than just GVW and towing capacity. So let's get into some of those reasons. Number one, I would tell you, one of the biggest benefits of tandem is the ability to interlock these axles. So when I'm going down the road, this tire is the one that's really driving us at highway speed. But what happens if I get into a low traction scenario? I'm in the snow, I'm going from Portland, Oregon to Portland, Maine. I'm gonna run into things that I'm not gonna be able to predict. So with the interlocking axle feature, I can lock these two together, and that gives me power to both axles, which essentially we call it 8-wheel drive. And if you never use it, it's just something to brag about to your friends. It also has just a locking rear differential, which in most of your pickups and SUVs, you're used to anyways. And it does the same thing. It just locks axles side to side. So when we talk about performance and capability, those are just another advantage of tandem axle. Also, I have just more contact patch while I'm here on the road, right? I have more tires. I just have another set of 4 tires that I didn't have with single rear axle, and more contact patch, and also more brakes. Uh, we'll talk about brakes a little bit more detail later, but more braking capability. And with tandem, it also should give me a better ride quality. And finally, if you're coming from the motor coach world in the Class A industry, many of these axles are not tandem drive axles. One is a tag axle, which lifts up and down, usually this one at the back, and it has a super single rear tire, which is not as capable. It doesn't give you the same GVWR, and it goes up and down. It's just kind of wonky. These are just not that. These are a true tandem drive rear axle setup. So putting a bow on these tandem axles, my final point is that even if you are never going to reach the 15,000 pound cargo carrying capacity, you're never going to reach the 30,000 pound towing capacity, it's just comforting to know that you never have to worry about that. Again, be careful what you go and buy. Do your research, because many coaches don't offer the carrying capacities that we have. You would be surprised how many RVs out there only have 1,000 pounds of cargo carrying capacity. And a lot of that is measured before we add water and diesel and propane, etc. So this thing is just an absolute no excuse. Get in it and you never have to worry. So I just got done telling you that this vehicle weighs over 43,000 pounds and it's 45 foot in length. And by the way, it's well over 13 foot tall. So there's a lot of mass going down the road, which if you are hauling yourself, your spouse, and your family down the road, while this has a ton of go, right? We talked about the powertrain. We also need a lot of whoa. We need some stopping, and I need some safety features. And there is a host of those things on this coach. So we're just gonna rattle them all off to you. Starting out with air disc brakes. And you're going, hey, disc brakes, that's pretty common. Every car has it. Well, in the truck world, not so much. And in the RV world, you'll have to double check your specs, because you can option a coach with hydraulic drum brakes. You could upgrade to air drum brakes, which many coaches have, but a premium option is the air disc brakes, and this coach has it all the way around. Some coaches don't even have air disc brakes all the way around. They might have it in the front, but they don't have it in the back. This coach is all the way around. Also, we have the Jacobs compression brake, or a Jake brake that you may have heard of, which uses the engine's compression system. So it works in tandem with the engine and the transmission to help slow you down. And I used it all this morning coming down into Elk Valley Resort from Pine today. And that just is a great comforting feeling. I can adjust how much braking it's giving me, but I never even really had to touch my brakes coming down the mountain this morning. A wonderful, comforting feeling. We also have the on-guard collision mitigation system, which has two main features. It has adaptive brake assist and adaptive cruise control. Adaptive cruise control, you've probably heard of. Most vehicles have it now. It is going to slow me down and speed me up and keep me in a safe distance away from the vehicle in front of me while at highway speeds. Adaptive brake assist is a similar function, but doesn't need cruise control. It's just on all the time. So if somebody cuts me off, or maybe I'm not paying attention, it's going to apply the brakes for me. And what's unique about it is that while we're great drivers, if somebody cuts me off unexpectedly, it prevents the 1 second of reaction time that I don't have from my brain to my foot to be able to stop me. So a great supplemental feature for braking. Other safety features that this has, just a fun one more or less, is air horns. So not only will your kids or your grandkids love it, it's a great way to scare your wife, but if I am going to warn somebody about me coming, or I just need to alert, the air horns on board are loud and effective. Next feature, LED headlights. Common on many cars nowadays, but not so common on these commercial grade trucks. And of course, this M2112 has it. Camera system. So on the Supreme Aire, this actually has the OmniView 360-degree camera system. So I have 4 cameras on board. I have 2 on the side, 1 out the back, and 1 at the front of my grill. This is a game changer for RVs because I have 45 foot of greatness here. So when I'm backing into my RV spot, I have a full perimeter view of the coach. But talking more specifically about driving, these cameras on the side I can use when I turn right or left. They're monitoring my blind spot so I can see who's sitting there. If I have a small car sitting there that I can't see, I have great mirrors for good visibility, but these are just an extra supplement for me to be able to drive down the road. This M2 is also spec'd with electronic stability control. So if I'm in a 50-mile-an-hour crosswind, I have the braking system that helps keep me stable. Now, I will just tell you that I really don't even think that feature gets used that often because of how heavy this coach is. In southern Idaho, where we're at, it's the windiest part of the state. We love taking customers out for drives in the wind. This electronic stability control, I don't even see that come on because just how stout this thing is. Next, tire pressure monitor system. Many RVs have a aftermarket tire pressure monitor system. This actually has a Freightliner OEM built-in tire pressure monitor system. So it just makes it more reliable. It has a really cool screen built into the dash. There's no funky big old monitor that you have to have just for the tire pressure monitor. One of my final points that I think is important that you know about is crash test ratings. So this is a commercial truck, and commercial trucks have to go through commercial crash test standards. And I'm not going to paint with a broad brush here, but many other RVs, Class A's, C's, they don't necessarily have the same set of standards for crash testing. Finally, being a Super C, what I would tell you is an advantage over a Class A is front-end collisions. So not only is this crash test rated, but if I am going to get into a front-end collision, I have a bumper, an axle, an engine in front of me before you get to me. In a Class A motor coach, really all I have is a giant windshield and an axle in front of me. So I will ask you, if you are going to get into a front-end collision, which one would you rather be in? So now that I've ran through the brochure of safety specs, why do you care about that? Well, if you're going to be using this coach, and we said it's a no compromise unit, you're going to be encountering so many different scenarios while you're traveling thousands of miles a year. You're going to be going down a hill with 40-mile-an-hour winds and rain in your face. You're going to be having to get up early. You're going to have to be traveling at night. There's going to be different highways, different roads, different types of drivers. And a lot of people just don't respect trucks. So you want to be able to have something that you can get in and be assured that you have the best chance of mitigating a collision or some sort of disaster while out on the road. And this coach is just the answer for that. Final talking point about the chassis is service and reliability, because many people are afraid to talk about it, especially on the Class A side. So let's get into it. First of all, this M2112 chassis from Newmar has one of the best warranties I've seen out there. This has a 5-year, 100,000-mile warranty on the chassis. It also has a 5-year, 100,000-mile warranty on the engine, and it has a 5-year unlimited miles warranty on the Allison transmission, which that just shows you how proud of the transmission Allison is. But further than that, many people can talk about a warranty, but we don't talk about how easy it actually is to get into a service center. So I'm going to talk about the differences of a service center for a commercial truck like this and a Freightliner custom chassis that are on Class A's. So I encourage you after this video to go to Freightliner's website, their commercial website. What you'll see throughout is them talking about keeping you on the road, keeping runtime going, maximizing parts, and limiting the amount of time you're off the road. And why is that? Well, Freightliner stands out amongst International and Peterbilt and some of these other competitors because they want to keep you out on the road. If you're not moving, you're losing money, right? We know how important it is that our Amazon packages get here. Our grocery stores are stocked. Our towing customers are getting you off the road. So we're in the business of making money in the trucking side. One of the coolest things about this is that you as a non-commercial customer get to reap all the benefits of the commercial uptime stuff from Freightliner. A really cool piece of technology that's in this engine is Detroit's virtual technician feature. So if I'm going down the road and I get a check engine light, the engine actually sends a signal to Detroit's satellite system, and that's going to tell them what's going on with the engine. And it's going to tell you, and you're going to receive a text message that says, hey, here's the code, here's what it's about, and it's going to tell you how severe that issue is. It'll also tell you what your closest service center is. It'll also alert that service center about the issue, what their capability is, their availability, and if they have the parts in stock. So just the technology is insane. Another big advantage of Freightliner just specifically is I looked this morning, they have over 700 service locations across the country. So they're one of the largest network of servicing dealers in the whole trucking industry. Finally, you have all these service centers, but they're really built for these commercial trucks. So when you have an RV spec Freightliner, like a Class A bus, while it has Freightliner parts, has a chassis, it has maybe a Cummins or a Detroit engine and maybe an Allison transmission as well, they're built completely differently. I'd mentioned that they're built in two different factories. So while they share some components, most of these service centers only understand to a high level this commercial side. Part schematics, diagrams, wiring schemes, all that is through the commercial side, and the RV side just doesn't talk to one another. So when you get into most scenarios with a Class A, most of these Freightliner dealers don't want to work on your coach. I'm just gonna shoot you straight. Why is that? Well, fundamentally, the engine is in the back. If you're in a diesel pusher example, the radiators on the side, engines maybe tilted differently, driveline spinning sideways. It's very intimidating to some mechanics in most service centers. And here's how you can tell that they don't want to work on it. They're going to tell you it's 6 weeks out before they can get even a look at you. They're going to charge you a higher labor rate, and it's just going to take them longer. They don't want to have the liability of their technician having to go through the middle of your coach, open up the tile flooring in your beautiful bathroom to access the top of the engine. Man, there's just so many things that are complicated about a Class A that while they may have similar specs and numbers, man, they're not the same. An example I had, one of our customers called us just to laugh about this. They had a Freightliner M2 just like this, and they told them that, hey, I have a Newmar RV that I'd like to get serviced, just needed an oil change. And the Freightliner told him exactly that. It said, hey, you're 6 weeks out. It's an RV, so, just so you know, we have one tech that can work on it. And she goes, hey, I don't understand. This is a Freightliner M2. And he goes, oh, why didn't you say so? We can get you in tomorrow. Like, it is just that simple that not all coaches are created the same. All right, it's finally time to start talking about the fun stuff about this RV. One of the things that separates the Supreme Aire from really the rest of the competition is its undeniable road presence. I mean, this thing looks badass. It's one of those coaches that when you park it, you turn around and you look at it, right? Or when you're going by some glass, you check it out. I think if you're anything like us, most of buying something like this, or if I buy we're automotive enthusiasts. So buying something that looks cool is part of the process, right? It's part of the fun. So this fits the bill. This fits in the showroom with your GT500 or your GT40 or in your airplane hangar. As like my dad likes to say, it fits the program. A key reason why this styling looks so good is Newmar's paint process. They have some of the best paint quality that I've seen in the RV industry. And the way that they're able to do that is they do everything in-house. So they have their own paint program. They've actually have an exclusive coating that they use with BASF paints, which, why do I care about that? Well, most RVs manufacturers, they outsource their paint. Not a huge deal, but Newmar doesn't give you any flack about paint. They can control it in-house, the quality. They are also willing to try more things. So year after year, they update paint schemes. And you can be rest assured that when you buy a Newmar, it's on the cutting edge of a paint design. It also is something that's timeless. Like, this is just not something that in 15 years is gonna be outdated. This is a really classy design. This particular paint scheme is the Beckford paint scheme. Newmar does an excellent job with their fiberglass panels. Starting with their front aero cap design, it has this beautiful glass window, and this front aero cap perfectly flows in with our awning covers right up top. And one of the best ways to know that you're in a Newmar is actually the rear fiberglass cap. It's a beautiful design, it's modern, it's cutting edge. And my favorite thing about it is they actually integrate a spoiler, which just pays homage to Newmar's commitment to driving performance. Looking on a smaller level, some of the fit and finish items that Newmar does, look at this caliber 9 stainless steel front grille, and it has Newmar on the front of it. Look, part of owning a Newmar is just making a statement, man. Like, when you have this, you should be proud to own it. This grille is just an extra statement piece about owning a Supreme Aire, and it's awesome. Next, we have aluminum Alcoa wheels, which are a high-end premium aluminum wheel that looks great. We have chrome bumpers. We have chrome elements throughout the coach, chrome mirrors, optional on this coach, but chrome baggage door handles, and also fiberglass tank covers. Not all manufacturers care about this, but from Freightliner, you just get some aluminum steps that just don't look as good. Newmar takes the time to go ahead and make this body panel to flow perfectly in with your compartment doors and the rest of the coach. Something that often gets overlooked in an RV is lighting, but many RVs just don't give you enough lighting. So look, when a lot of you are gonna take this somewhere boondocking and you're gonna have zero lights out there. So, because we know a lot of you are not gonna be staying in an RV park. Newmar does a great job of just giving you tons of lighting options. So let's get started. First, one of my favorite options that we put on this is our IWS outside lighting package. So we have 5 lights around this coach to just give you a full perimeter view of the coach at night. We have 2 on the passenger side, 2 on the driver's side, and 1 out the door. I love these lights for one of the main reasons is, like, look, if I'm out in the middle of nowhere and I hear a bump in the night and I think it's Sasquatch, these lights can really just illuminate the entire perimeter of the coach. In addition to these lights, we also have, of course, a porch light, but we also have LED docking lights. And for some of you that are gonna hook up to a stacker trailer, or you just want extra lights for what you're backing up, we have these LED docking lights. We have LED backup lights. These can also just be switched when you're stopped as well. All of our compartments have lights inside of them. Our awnings has this beautiful LED light rail. And this is more an aesthetic choice, but it also does have some functionality, is these slide outs have LED lights beneath of them. Again, just part of the way that Newmar is making you look the most cool out at the RV space. One of the major criticisms that we hear about Super Cs in comparison to a Class A is their lack of exterior compartment storage. And that's where Newmar really came in with their Class A knowledge. And they said, you know what? This just isn't good enough. And they've come in and changed the game. I'm willing to put my neck out there and say that the Newmar brand has the most amount of exterior storage space of any Super C competitor out there. And one of the reasons I say that is because as you're looking at this coach, anywhere that they could fit a compartment or can find storage, they've done it. Some of these compartments you'll see, like this one, has a pegboard system integrated it along with shelving. They also have this little compartment in between the tandem axles and the front entry door, which is just small enough, but you can always find something to put in there. But I think where most of the innovation comes from Newmar is in the back two compartments here, which I want to spend a little more time on. This first compartment here has a 3/4 slide out tray here. So as I pull it out, we can see what we've got fit in here. We try to give you a few examples of different things you could put in here. So we have some snowshoes here with your poles. We have some extra tile and parts here that are long. We put some waters in here so you could get a good perspective. This particular compartment also has an electric 110 outlet, so you can plug a fridge, freezer, or something like that inside of it, as well as access to your exterior central vacuum system. This last compartment is one that I think most of you are going to be really excited about, and that is a compartment that's long enough to hold something as long as a ladder. Like this coach doesn't have an exterior ladder to get up on the roof, so many of you want to carry one. So look at this. I can carry this humongous ladder inside my coach. Something that you've just never been able to do in a Super C before. Finally, to hammer this home about storage, is this really cool hidden feature from the Newmar. This rear compartment door is perfect for storing detailing products or oils or rags. We have like our DeWalt toolkit here. We also have this really nice storage that you could put either like we have our fishing poles here or our water skis and our hitch stuff. Also another good spot for like a folding table. Just something that Newmar is just willing to innovate and think outside the box and say, hey, there's a better way to do these things. And this rear cap really proves that. So if you're still with me at this point in the video, thank you. So I'm gonna really knock your socks off and we're gonna talk about this door because it's really exciting. Not all doors are created equal, and Newmar has a great innovation for their entry door. Starting off with is this three-step, I guess you would call it. Many RVs only have two, which actually makes it somewhat difficult to get in and out of. And Newmar's integrated three. This is a hydraulic system, so it's fast in and out, and it gets hid away, and it's painted on the exterior, and it looks very nice. Adding some more versatility with this door is how wide it is. Newmar does a little bit wider door than most RVs, which makes it nice to get in and out. What I love about their door too is it's a much thicker door. So it's heavy, it's stout. And then they have an actual lock up top rather than a flimsy gas strut. So it's actually somewhat hard to push this in. And so when it's windy outside, you're not having to worry about this thing slamming and losing it when you're trying to exit the coach. Also, Newmar's thought of a lot of great things. So we love this lighted keypad grab handle because, of course, I can unlock my coach and compartment doors with this keypad, which is wonderful. Has a little doorbell as well, nice touch. But ergonomics, they've done a good job of making it easy to get in and out of and adding grab handles where they should be. So thank you for sticking around and talking about doors with me. One of the most important things that can elevate your experience when you're at your destination with your coach is shade coverage. And Supreme Aire has a lot of shade coverage. First, you're going to see these beautiful, large Girard Nova awnings. And these are a very expensive awning that are only come on the top level coaches. These are, of course, full length, but they're two stage. So what that means is they're going to come out and then they're going to angle down, as you can see here, which provide maximum shade coverage. And really they're kind of inspired by, if you've been to any major event or an NHRI drag race, this looks very similar to what you would see on a big race trailer or somebody's pit crew. Gives you just an absolute awesome look. It has LED lights, as I'd mentioned before. So in the evening, gives you some nice ambient lighting. A unique feature about the Girard Nova awnings is that they have a motion sensor built into them, so that when I do go leave for the day, if I leave my awnings out while I go fishing or kayaking or go into the drag race for the day, and I leave these out, if the wind picks up unexpectedly, these will automatically come in for me, giving me complete peace of mind. And as you can see here, many of the windows on this coach have a powered window awning. So not only do you have awnings on this side of the coach, but on the driver's side, those windows have awnings as well to maximize your shade coverage. The Supreme Aire also comes standard with hydraulic leveling jacks. And this is awesome because you can just hit auto level and the coach takes care of the rest. There's no more getting your bubble level out, using blocks of wood, jacking the thing up. You just set it and forget it. So I'd mentioned that Newmar had invented the slide out in 1968. Ever since then, slide outs have not really changed too much, unless you're Newmar. They offer this humongous full wall slide out on a 45-foot coach. This is something that's never been offered on a Super C before Newmar entered the game. With this full wall slide out, you get a few things. One, with this full wall slide, of course, you get more interior space, but that also gives Newmar the flexibility to give you more floor plan options, more interior storage space. And with this, they also do something unique where they offer a full flush slide. So inside, you'll see the slide actually goes out and then it comes down so that you have a fully flush floor. Many competitors don't do this. They just have some sort of slope or ridge. And in the Supreme Aire, being Supreme, it offers tile instead of most competitors just use carpet. So that really just elevates the look inside. From a mechanical aspect, these are hydraulically driven. And what's cool about them as well is they have a mechanical lock, so you can be rest assured that they won't come out while you're driving. Finally, from a protective aspect, they also have a vinyl, canvas covering on the top, a slide out protector, so that if you have leaves or rain or any of that stuff like that, it will not get in your slide out. One of the things that's most important to us at IWS is that before you make your purchase, you feel fully informed. And one of the most confusing parts of RVs is their electrical systems. I mean, there's so much to learn. There's batteries, there's alternators, there's generators, there's inverters, there's converters, there's surge guard protectors, there's solar panels. All these things combined into an electrical system. So we're going to make sure that you understand all these things as a system and explain why every option is so good. And we're going to do a little bit of a tech talk here. When talking about the electrical system, everything starts and ends with the batteries. And on the Supreme Aire, we have two sets of batteries. We have the chassis batteries, which of course control everything on the chassis. And then we have the house batteries, which control everything on the house or the RV side. In the Supreme Aire's case, you have a few different options for batteries, but what I'm showing you today is the best lithium ion package we can get in the Supreme Aire. In this coach, we have two 320 amp hour lithium batteries, which when you add those together is 640 amp hours. And that might be the first time you've ever heard the term amp hours, or maybe you've ever cared about it. But in a sense, I'm not a battery salesman, but amp hours are, it's a number that determines how long something can run on a single charge. And in general, a higher amp hour number means more things can run longer before needing to recharge, right? So basically it's equivalent to like having a fuel tank. How long can you go? 640 amp hours is a very healthy number for most people. It's important to know that, when we're talking about electrical, some people may require more, some may not need any of this. We give you a good starting point of what we normally like to use in our own personal RVs. An advantage of lithium over lead acid or AGM batteries is just a few things. Mostly is performance, longevity, their ability to recharge, and just the technology and weight savings that they have. For example, these lithium batteries here, we would estimate that these would last about 10 plus years. A normal AGM battery, you're looking probably 3 to 5 years before cycling them out. These also will charge faster than a typical AGM battery. They have a better performance for dry camping. And they also have Bluetooth technology. So you'll see that here we have the Lithionics battery monitor. There's actually an app that you can hook up to that gives you all the tech specs and the current status of these batteries. Now there's monitors all over this coach, as we'll get into later, that show you your battery, percentage. But if you're really into knowing what your batteries are doing, there's an even further application with Lithionics. As I mentioned, we believe this is a really healthy number for most people in their general use case. However, if you need more batteries and more output, we can make that happen for you. Just give us a call. We can upgrade your battery system. But again, we feel like this is the best package for one size fits all type application. We like to say that we're IWS and not just IWS. When we option the Supreme Aire with this great Lithionics lithium package, we also get an upgraded inverter system. So we go from a single inverter to 2 inverters. And if it's the first time you've ever heard that term, inverters take the power from your batteries and invert it to the coach, right? They help charge your batteries. It's a communication system from your batteries to the coach, in essence. And most coaches just come with one at a smaller wattage. So these are 3,000 watt inverters each. So this makes it the most efficient system for all your appliances. It also gives you the ability to charge your batteries at a faster, more efficient rate. So a way to help supplement your lithium package is to give it a solar charging system. In this particular coach, we've optioned it with 4 100 watt solar panels. And again, we believe that's just a really good package to start with for these lithium batteries. Some people they want more solar panels, but solar panels can be interesting in the fact that you can do more panels, you can do panels with higher watts, you can do different styles, all things that we can do custom solutions for you. We just gave you a pretty nice package to start with. Another charging system that people don't know about or talk about often is the chassis alternator. So the M2112 has a 300 amp alternator, which, by the way, check the specs on some of the competition. They have a smaller alternator than that. But with this alternator, it allows you to charge your batteries while going down the road. So when your chassis batteries are topped off, it trickles over to the house batteries. Just one thing while I'm talking about chassis batteries and the house batteries and how they charge together, there's a cool feature on this coach where if your house batteries do happen to die for some reason, there's oftentimes that your chassis batteries are still completely full. So what you can do is hit the emergency switch, and that'll allow you to be able to start your generator with your chassis batteries. A really cool feature. Speaking of the generator, the Supreme Aire offers the largest Cummins Onan generator we can fit in an RV. That is the Cummins Onan quiet diesel 12,500 watt generator, or 12.5 kW. This thing is a Kubota tractor engine. This is a beefcake. This thing, if you look in the owner's manual, it tells you to run it for 3 or 4 hours rather than 30 minutes. This thing's designed to run. And I want to point out just a couple things about it that are unique. First of all, they put it out on a slide tray so that it's easy to service. So if you do need to service it. But this coach has 3 air conditioners built on board, okay, and they're 15,000 BTU. We'll talk about heating and cooling a little bit later, but this generator doesn't care that those are there. This thing runs like a workhorse, every outlet, totally comfortable. We also have a feature called AGS, or automatic generator start, and that has 2 features. If your batteries get too low, you can set it to where the generator comes on and charges your batteries. And if you have a pretty low battery, it only takes a couple hours for the batteries to get fully recharged. Again, thanks to the inverter and the lithium batteries. It also has a second parameter where if I have temperature reach a certain level, it can turn on, and then my air conditioners can be set to come on. So perfect example, if I go out fishing for the day or go to the drag race and I have some dogs in the coach, and I can say, hey, if it gets to 75 degrees or so, whatever temperature, generator kicks on and get my coach cooled down. So you just set this thing and forget it. Last thing to talk about when combined with the generator is this really cool outlet, and we helped Newmar design this, but we put a 50 amp outlet back here. And why would we do that? A couple reasons. We know that if you're buying a Supreme Aire, there's a good chance that you have a stacker trailer, or you just have a trailer that has an air conditioner. Maybe you have a buddy that needs some help. You have an electric car, you have a welder. This 50 amp plug is directly tied to this generator. And I've often seen setups where we have a stacker or an RV trailer that has one air conditioner going, and we have 2 air conditioners going on this coach as well. So adds a ton of versatility, and something that just most people don't think about in the Class A world, but Super C people, we think about. So everything we've talked about up until this point were things that you would care about when you're boondocking or dry camping, right? But like we said, this is a destination coach. So when I am at an RV park or at a campsite that has power, we need shore power. And this coach has a really cool system. It has a 36-foot shore cord reel, so it gives me plenty of length. And really interesting, instead of a turnout system, they just integrate it right into the door right here. And Newmar's also done a great job. They've thought of everything. They put an automatic transfer switch in, and they have a built-in surge guard protector. So this thing's ready to go right out the box. So you don't have to go buy your own surge guard protector or anything like that. This thing's ready to go. Okay, final thoughts on electrical system. I've thrown a bunch of numbers out at you, and that may or may not mean anything to you, but you're gonna be really asking the question is, okay, Ben, how long can I run this coach on my batteries and the solar system and everything you've talked about? And I've always kind of given a caveat answer with that, because it depends on so many factors, right? Your use case, are you opening the fridge 1,000 times a day? Is every outlet plugged into the max? Are you running your furnace? What's the temperature outside? Do you have sun available to you? Is it cloudy? I'm not gonna get into all that. Here's what I can really tell you from our research and development and our own coach experience and our personal coaches. Using the coach comfortably, showering, using the furnace, running the fridge reasonably, having everything plugged in, this battery system should be able to run your coach for 24 hours at a very comfortable pace without making really too many sacrifices. Now, if you want to get complex with it, you can get very conservative and watch every watt and amp that's coming in and out of the coach, and you could sure stretch that to 48 hours. But here's the thing to remember is when you're dry camping, you got to run your generator anyways to operate your air conditioners. And it only takes a couple hours for your generator to charge the batteries anyway. So you can maximize the amount of runtime that you have on your batteries by adding more and adding more solar. But at the end of the day, the generator does a great job at minimizing the amount you need to run it. So with that being said, I hope that you see that this electrical system is really well thought out by Newmar, and you have a total peace of mind that when you go out, that no matter what, battery level is something that you should never have to worry about. With the AGS system, the generators, the solar panels on board, the upgraded alternator, all things are going to help you while you're at your destination. Next, we're going to talk about the water capacity in the system of the Supreme Aire. It's pretty impressive. So starting out with just the capacity numbers, there's 150 gallons of fresh water, 60 gallons of gray tank, and 40 gallons of black tank. Pretty healthy numbers for most RV uses. I've got the water management bay open here, and it's pretty impressive. Newmar's really taken the time to make this look pretty nice. It's really intuitive. Everything's labeled really well, and I think they've done a nice job from a quality standpoint, plumbing everything correctly. Uh, Switches look nice, but we're gonna go give you a full breakdown of what's going on in here. Starting with right out here, they have a monitor panel, and this is also duplicated inside the coach, but it's nice to see the the status of your fresh tank, your gray tank, and your black tank all from the outside of the coach. One of the things that make this a really luxurious coach, in my opinion, is the electronic valves for dumping your black tank and your gray tank. Most coaches just have a pull system, whereas this is just electric buttons. It's really premium. We of course have a gray tank and black tank rinse here, which many RVs comes with. We have a whole house water filtration system, so you can rest assured that you're getting clean water as you're bringing water in and out of the coach. We also have a water hose on a power wind reel, which is nice, and it is able to close with the door so that if you're hooked up to an RV park, you're able to close this door. We also have a shower, hot water and cold water here, which is nice for if your wife's mad at you, you can take a hot shower, or of course, if you have, a lot of you have dogs and pets, be able to wash off from out here. And then really probably my favorite thing about the water system from Newmar is their usage of the Thetford Sandycon macerator system. So most traditional RVs use they hook up to their dump station and they have we call it the Stinky Slinky. It's like an accordion. It's the normal RV sewage hose. And it's very bulky and large, and it's stinky. Versus something like this, it's a smaller hose, it's a sealed system. So typically all I have to clean is this, for the most part, day in and day out, is just this little cap here. And by doing this, I'm able to have a pump here, the macerator, that pumps and liquefies the waste out and allows me to pump uphill if I need to, if like I have a honey putt truck that comes by, if I'm at the racetrack or something like that. But really, I think the best thing about this is it just takes the kind of the not so fun part of RVing out of it. And I don't want to say it's fun, but it makes it much more comfortable when you have a system like this. So a nice option from Newmar. One of the last things that I wanted to add about Newmar is that they're very conscientious about conserving your water. There's a really cool system on here called Aquamizer, and you'll see it in the shower. The Aquamizer is a way that we have continuous hot water on here, which I'll show you in a minute, but it still has about a 10 or 15-second delay when you're starting from cold. And what the Aquamizer does is it heats the water up in a tank behind the shower. And so when I flip that valve open, I then have hot water. So not very much water that you're wasting, but when you factor over a 7-day period, you could lose up to 10% of your water capacity. So the Aquamizer system is a nice way for adding comfort and, of course, conserving water. Let's talk about how we heat and cool the Supreme Aire. On board, we have something called the Oasis Chinook. It's a hydronic heating system, which replaces the need for propane. So this coach is a propane-less RV. And if this is your first time buying an RV, you're probably like, I thought all coaches came with propane. But this has been the new wave for the last 10 years, I would say. And propane's still around on very many entry-level RVs. But the Oasis or AquaHot on some other competitors, this hydronic heating solution is really the new wave and the way to go. So how does the Oasis work and what does it do? Well, It really does two things for you. It doubles as your hot water heater as well as your furnace. And the way that it does that is that there's a glycol solution that it superheats. And that glycol solution runs through your coach. It runs by the what would be your furnace vents inside the coach and through your hot water system. And that glycol is heated two different ways. Number one would be using the electric system of the coach, where if I'm plugged into an RV park, it uses electricity to heat that glycol. However, when I'm dry camping and I don't have access to it, I would use diesel fuel. So it uses a diesel burner, which pulls out of my fuel tank from the chassis to heat that glycol. And that diesel burner is the most effective burner. So it works in temperatures well below 45 degrees, whereas electric coil, it only works in temperatures above 45 degrees. So, but either way, you're covered with the Oasis. And it's an excellent system. I love having this over propane because when you're going out camping, there's a lot of things you got to remember. You got to fill up your coach with water. You got to fill it up with food. You got to pack all your clothes. You got to fill it up with diesel. And then you had to have propane. And yet filling up a propane tank is, I don't know if you've been to go fill one up, but it's everyone's always a little nervous when you fill it up. You're always worried about leaks. It takes storage compartment space usually. So this just eliminates all that. I absolutely love this system from Oasis. I briefly mentioned it when we were talking about the generator, but this coach comes standard with three 15,000 BTU air conditioners, and they also have heat pumps built into them. But I can tell you that these air conditioners stand up to the toughest environments. So whether you're in Florida in the summer and you're dealing with all that humidity, or you're in San Antonio or in Scottsdale, Arizona, these air conditioners and having three of them really help stand up in those extreme hot temperatures. And because we have that awesome 12.5 kilowatt generator, you can run those suckers all day. You don't have to worry about it. No overloading. You can max this thing out. So even though we have incredible heating and cooling solutions, they can only be as good as the insulation or the windows that we have in the coach if there's air leaks and things of that nature. So Newmar has an incredible insulation package, and it's some of the best in the RV industry. And their R values are pretty dang close to residential grade solutions that I've seen. Their insulation package is a unique package. They have this pretty thick insulation where they use 5/8 inch bead foam. They use some sort of polar pack batten insulation and then a craft vapor barrier inside of it for moisture and things of that. But with that, they're able to get some pretty intense R values. So like they use that in the roof, which gets you an R24. They use it in the floor, it gives you an R16. They use it in the sidewalls, gets you an R11. And in the storage compartments, they are insulated. It's a little bit different, but they get an R4 value, which is pretty cool. And one thing I forgot to mention is that the freshwater tank is also insulated, and the gray and black tanks have heaters on them. So we have this package of insulation that really helps the coach in hot climates and in cold climates, and really makes it a four-season coach. One of the biggest culprits for heating and cooling efficiency loss is windows. And I'm excited to share that the Newmar Supreme Aire has bonded thermopane windows, which adds insulation to the coach. Each window also has a powered day and night shade that helps prevent sun from coming in. And remember, on top of that, we also have the powered window awnings over the window, which just, again, help keep you more comfortable and protect you from the sun. Another way to help manage heating and cooling in your coach is just the ventilation systems inside the coach. So on the Supreme Aire, we have powered roof vents, and we have windows that open and close as well. So what I love about the vents is I can open up a slide window and I can run a vent, and I can get cool mountain breeze coming through my coach to help circulate air. But also, man, sometimes just in the springs, especially in Idaho, it's not hot enough or cold enough to, I just want some fresh air coming through. So just another factor of the insulation package and the ventilation system in the coach. So I hope you can see when you factor in the Oasis, so I hope that you can see that with the Oasis system, the three 15,000 BTU air conditioners, the incredible insulation packages, the heated tanks, the ventilation, the thermopane windows, all these things can make you feel confident that this thing can handle anything that you throw at it. From if you're in the single digits and you're up in the mountains skiing, it can handle those cold environments and be a 4-season coach. Or on the opposite end, if you're in Florida or Texas or Scottsdale, Arizona, and you're in 115-degree heat, it can handle that as well. So the Supreme Aire can truly handle anything you throw at it. Okay, probably the moment you've all been waiting for. Let's take a look at what this thing looks like on the inside. I'm gonna go ahead and get it set up, get it slid out so we can take a peek. Okay, walking inside the Supreme Aire for the first time. So first impressions, what do you notice? Well, I think the first thing for us is this really feels like a place that you could stay at for 6 to 9 months to a year and not get tired of it. You know, most RVs, they really feel somewhat utilitarian in a way where I think the design team on those RVs, they forget that, hey, this is somewhere that is paying a lot of money for something, and they're going to be expecting a certain level of craftsmanship and interior design. And that's where Newmar's really crushed it. When you look at the cabinet colors, the solid surface countertops, all the hardware that they chose, the furniture really has made this stand out and built a class of its own. And the wonderful thing about Newmar is it doesn't matter which floor plan you choose or what color package you choose or cabinets, all these materials are the same quality, and there's really not a wrong choice when it comes to speccing out your Supreme Aire. One of the biggest standouts in the Newmar Supreme Aire is how they design their kitchens. And I don't think anybody beats Newmar in their kitchen design. And reminder, we're on the 4530 floor plan, but this kitchen is pretty universal to most of their floor plans. Just might look a little different or might be swapped, but I just think in general, they share very similar characteristics. The main characteristic that I love about their kitchen is how deep of a countertop space that they do. Really, nobody innovates this big of a countertop. Most of them are only as wide as, say, like this induction cooktop. And why that is so great is because I love putting my coffee pot or an espresso machine behind these, and I still have usable space. Usually in a kitchen aspect, when you have a Keurig or some sort of coffee maker, you're sacrificing counter space and you're constantly moving it back and forth. Whereas in this space, you don't have to worry about that. I think this kitchen in general is for people that love to cook or to bake like my mom does. It gives you a lot of versatility, and let me show you why. You can see that we have our induction cooktop here to show you, but underneath the countertops, you have a cutting board. And many manufacturers don't think about these removable covers. They don't give you a spot to place it, whereas Newmar, they do. They give you a spot that is very low profile and doesn't take up a ton of room to store your countertops, these removable ones. And then they give you huge sinks. This is a really nice big farmhouse sink. And then we have a little wash station right here, our rinse station here. But when I don't need it, for the most part, people just need this size of sink. So love that. They're also thinking about you with your trash cans. And they just have storage slide out trays everywhere that you can imagine. We have little spice rack, adjustable shelving. And then look at this. In this cabinet, this is actually an angled cabinet that's narrower here at the bottom than it is over here. They've actually angled this entire drawer just so that you can put, you know, coffee grounds here, chip bags. You can remove this shelf as well. This really just proves that Newmar's thinking about you if you like to cook, or just use the kitchen for extra storage. For silverware, they also have built-in divider drawers here for silverware. So for those of you that love to cook, of course you need storage, but you also need some good appliances. And I want to start with talking about the induction stovetop with the Supreme Aire. And some of you may have heard of induction, but a lot of you have a gas stovetop or just a standard electric stovetop. Induction's a little bit different. It's an electric stovetop in the way that it's powered, but the unique feature about it is that it only comes on when you actually have your metal pan on it. And with that, it instantly transfers heat because it uses magnetism to be able to operate. My favorite feature is not only how efficient that it cooks, but when I take it off, I can put my hand on it and it's instantly cool, or at least in a matter of seconds. And so not only is it going to help prevent burns, but I can also put my covers back on instantly and not have to let it cool down for, gosh, it seems like an hour at sometimes. Last neat feature about this one's actually removable. And so if you're dry camping or just want to have a picnic out in front of the rig, you can plug that into the outlet on your RV and you have really a portable grill to some degree. Next, we have the Whirlpool convection microwave oven. So as I briefly mentioned earlier, there's no propane on this unit. So there's no traditional oven with an oven door there. The microwave doubles as a oven as well. And some of you might be wondering, hey, I don't want to microwave all my food. Well, the convection oven feature has come so far along in technology that my mom even put these same convection ovens in her house because of how much she liked it in our RV. So very, very efficient for cooking. This is a pretty large one as well. So a full-size pizza would fit in here just for an example. But again, if you love to bake or cook, there's really no compromises in this unit. I talked a lot about the functionality of the kitchen and all the storage and unique appliances, but finally, I think we should just talk a bit about just the styling elements of the kitchen because it is beautiful. Starting out with, I mean, the tile backsplash that Newmar chose, I think really coincides well with the countertop choice and of course the cabinets. And then look at this beautiful window. And this is one that we optioned in. This gives you a tremendous open view of course, the passenger side of the coach, but it really opens it up and makes this large kitchen even feel even bigger. And then finally, look at this glass strip here with the LED lighting. It almost reminds you of the Northern Lights a little bit. It's a really cool styling touch that Newmar's design team knocked out of the park. So I'm standing towards the front of the RV right now, and I'm going to talk about the entertainment center where your television is and why we optioned it the way that we did. So Newmar gives you a few different options for furniture depending on your floor plan. And of course, we're in the 4530. And we chose this floor plan to be our epic floor plan, which means this is our best entertainer's coach as far as floor plan goes, because look at all this space I have with the full wall slide and my kitchen slide out as well. I mean, there's just tons of space here, right? But if a lot of you are going to be entertaining or you're at the racetrack and you're going to have people coming in and out all day, or if you're at the Denver Broncos game tailgating, you're going to have people coming in and out. We love having the opposing seating set up. And these theater seats are great for when it's just, for the most part, going to be you and your spouse and maybe a grandkid or here and then. But look how wide these theater seats are. I mean, I can almost I can almost sit two of us in this, but I love how wide these are. These are wider than really any other theater seats out there in the market. And then of course they're powered, which is a really great feature. These do not turn into a bed, but they're comfortable enough to fall asleep in. We have cup holders with USB chargers. These are as a nice touch with the LED lights inside of them as well. We also have storage right here, nice and deep, so I can, with a tray in there, so I can put my remotes as well. Both theater seats have seat belts, so I can sit people here. Over here, we call this a jackknife sofa. So it does turn into a bed. However, it would be for a very small person. Or again, if your wife's really mad at you, this would be the place that you should sleep flat. But there is outlets on each side of this, so you can charge somebody's devices. Comfortable enough for two people. There is seat belts here. And again, Newmar is thinking about space savings, and they put this television, it's 55 inches by the way, on an elevator. They call it a televator if you wanted to know. But of course, this goes up and down as I need to. It's automatic. Up top, it has a nice piece of the countertop, so it blends in nice in the back of the sofa edge there. And then I have a beautiful window on the side. And then styling elements, they did a lot of cool things here that just other RV manufacturers don't care about that Newmar does. These wall sconce lights, the fabric on the back of them, gives a nice textured look and gives this coach a little bit more depth. They added LED lights above the cabinetry. And then from a functional standpoint, they've added cabinets up top here for audio, video, your Bose soundbar right up at the top. They really just crushed it. So now moving over to the dinette, and this dinette is actually pretty unique because it looks just like a normal dinette when I sit at it. And this actual one is called a Euro booth dinette. So right here, I'm sitting across from my beautiful wife. But when I'm at the tailgate and I have some more friends coming over, it's as simple as sliding it out and putting the two chairs here. And now I've opened up for 4 people to sit at this table. And Newmar's done a great job with the storage solution of these chairs by putting them under the bed, as well as the table leaves. But when I'm not using the table and chair set, I also have pull-out storage underneath both booths. And we even have a little small storage cabinet underneath for, maybe a Yahtzee game or something very thin that can go there. But again, if there's space for it, Newmar adds storage. When I'm sitting here, one of my favorite elements about the Supreme Aire is the window space. So looking out these beautiful frameless windows, the Supreme Aire offers some of the best and largest windows I've ever seen in a Super C. There's no frame, and there's also no vents on these windows to get in the way of this beautiful view. But when I do want ventilation, at the front of the slide there, I have a window that goes up and down. And then right by me, I have a vent that I can circulate air through. So ventilation is not an issue in the Supreme Aire. And I think just when I'm sitting here, you're just appreciating all the styling elements. Tim, our marketing manager, was just pointing it out to me about, like, if there's a space for it, like, nothing is left unfinished. Everything has a design element to it. It's textured. There's multiple layers to it. Everything is just really well thought out. And there's just a total pride in craftsmanship from Newmar across the board. The Supreme Aire has some really unique styling bits that often get overlooked in most RVs. Starting out with the slide out fascia on this full wall slide, and really on all the slides, this Bermuda glaze that they have on here, this dark tone, and then just all the nice styling elements, these X's that flow, and then this crown look here. Everything has a trim, everything has ridges to it, and things that we take for granted sometimes, but when you really take it in, it's just really a work of art. And then coming over from the slide out fascia, I love all the wood trim that's on the ceiling. There's a few different layers to the air conditioner covers. So you don't even know that there's 3 air conditioners on here with these stylized vents here. There's pad, there's wood trim, there's LED lighting to it. Really just a lot of work went into designing this coach that I just can't say enough about. So something that can really make or break a coach's interior design is the flooring. And I think the floor is actually what sets the tone for this entire coach. This tile flooring is really unique because this floor was custom ordered by us, and we worked with Newmar's design team We took this out of their $1.6 million King Air and put it into the Supreme Aire. So that's a custom option that's not even on the order sheet. This is not something that you'd have to call us to even know about. So we added the King Air flooring here, and this looks like real wood. It's a plank style, but it's actually porcelain tile flooring, which is beautiful. And I briefly mentioned it before, but I wanted to reiterate to you how unique this is in the Super C industry specifically. This is a completely flush floor. We have this little seal here, so prevent things from coming up and going down into the slide. But we have tile throughout the slide out, where most competitors, one, they don't have a full flush, so they have some sort of ridge where you're stepping into and out of constantly, but they also just do carpet as well, which, I mean, who does carpet anymore in some of these areas? So Newmar's really ahead of the times there. And then finally, to add to the elegance of this thing, this tile flooring is heated throughout the entire coach, which is a standard feature on the Supreme Aire. Okay, we've made it all the way down this side of the coach. We still got a long ways to go with the full wall slide. This is my favorite appliance, the refrigerator. Let's take a look at it. It's a big one. Newmar has done a great job of giving you a large refrigerator because they know their customers like to cook or keep mini beers in the fridge like myself. But adjustable shelving, we have temperature controlled drawers here, so for fruits and vegetables, meats and cheeses, water filters, air fresheners here. So it's a high quality fridge. We have a water line here, so easy to access water that's has extra filters. The freezer, we have an ice machine, and it's dual level, so lots of storage for frozen items. And I'll just tell you what I love about it being right next to the entry doors. It's easy to get in and out for if I'm cooking outside or if I am at the tailgate running in and out to grab refreshments. The pantry, conveniently located, and it's a large one. So we have dividers here that are adjustable, but we also have these really deep shelving units here, and these are adjustable as well. So I can take some out and I can move them in and out. And then just like a smaller pantry, but this is a really good spot for, you know, a dustpan or brooms or maybe some cleaning supplies, or of course just extra food items as well. So we just got done talking about all the family room, the kitchen, and some of the appliances, but now I want to talk a little bit more about just the actual living space and where you're going to be sleeping, and in the bathrooms and in the bedroom area as well. So starting out with, this is a bath and a half model specifically, and no matter what, if you get a bath and a half or a mid bath, Newmar does this really unique door to save on space. This little door has a unique way of opening and closing. And then just talking a minute about the mid bath, they've done an excellent job of making it a small space, but feeling big enough for you to, you know, do your business. And they've added a lot of nice elements inside of a small area, such as the LED lights in the mirror, the adjustable shelving units, the small sink, they've done all the same hardware pulls. They've added outlets inside of some of these cabinets, just add a lot of versatility to this small space. So we're standing in the master bedroom now, and I think it'd be important to talk about the wardrobe setup that Newmar provides you. So I love this wardrobe for a few different reasons. First, they do a nice job of a, you know, kind of a his and hers type closet here, or like my wife, it's just hers, but you at least have a chance here with it being split. We have lots of drawers underneath of it, so for underwear, socks, pants, shorts, things like that. And then we have a nice window back here. This is also an emergency egress window if it needs to be. Hopefully not, but I love having this countertop here because it's a nice place to throw your phone, your purse, your wallet, and keys. Where many RVs that don't have this, they just have hanging closet the whole way. There's really just no good spot for those things. And then What I like about how big this slide out is that I actually like putting our dog bowls here, or this is where you could put a dog crate or a um, cat bin as well, or in the bathroom. But just lots of options for if you have pets. So moving on over to this side, we have the bed, and this bed is a unique one in that it's 72 by 80, which is a king size bed. Many RVs say they have a king bed, but they're really not a true king like this is. Also, this bed has sleep number technology in it. So it has an air pump inside of it that allows for you and your partner to be able to set the firmness or softness of the bed for each one of you. Pretty cool. Very comfortable bed and a large bed, but there's also a lot of functionality around the bed. So each of you have nightstands on both sides, and there's integrated storage beneath the nightstands, and you can't probably see it where I'm standing, but inside of them we have a 110 outlet for you to be able to power a CPAP machine or plug your phone charger in. And they even have a little cool cable hole here so that you can easily charge your phone and not have a charger sticking out. Pretty cool. On the side of the bed, we have slide windows here so they can open and close. And of course they have day and night shades for extra privacy, but you have a good ventilation option. Above your head, we have more storage solution. And one of the most functional parts of the bed is that above you is some switches and some control panel here with the multiplex system, which we'll talk a little bit more about later. But it has places for you to control your generator, start and stop your water pump, your light switches, tons of control here so that you don't have to get out of bed. And last cool quirk about the bed and that I mentioned earlier is there's actually storage underneath the bed, which is a perfect spot to hold your table and chairs for the Eurobooth dinette. Okay, walking into the bathroom of the Supreme Aire, and this really is a showpiece for the Supreme Aire. Starting with, look at this extra closet we have here. So starting at the bottom, we have pull-out drawers, but I love this big space here because it's very versatile. I can put extra towels here. I can hang something else up on top. There's also a safe in the back for valuables or firearms. And then there's just a little extra cubby behind it for just really whatever you can think of. Next, moving on to the shower, and I went ahead and opened up the glass door here so we can get a nice look at it. And there's a lot of unique design elements here that I love that Newmar did here. First, just look at all the handles and the hardware. And I love all the extendable wand here. We have a nice rain shower head. We have storage solutions everywhere. And then we also have a teak seat here. So if I need to sit down, I can fold it over. And we have integrated soap dispensers as well. So again, just keeping the theme throughout, Newmar thinks about every nook and cranny and gives you functional storage solutions everywhere, even in the shower. Last unique feature about the shower is the aquamizer system. So right above the hot and cold handle there, we have an indicator light that tells you if the water is hot or cold, and that saves you water loss. So there's always about a 10-second delay when you're starting from cold before your water gets fully hot. So there's water circulating behind that, and it's superheating so that you don't lose much water. The vanity is a really nice one. They have a lot of storage underneath, and they have nice drawer space here. But I love the mirror here because we have storage with adjustable shelving, and we have a 110 outlet here. This is a perfect spot for like an electric toothbrush or a shaver. I also love the LED accents that they put into this mirror. And then I love the sink design as well. It's just a very premium feel. So next to the vanity, we have our washer and dryer set up. And this is a Splendide brand. And this is a full-sized washer and dryer unit that you can use when you're going down the road. But we've had great luck with these units. It adds total versatility to your destination experience by being able to wash your clothes on board. And if you don't want a washer and dryer, you do just get adjustable shelving here if you want it. Next, we're going to talk about toilets, believe it or not, but this particular floor plan has two. Some floor plans only have one, but all of Newmar's toilets are an electric macerator toilet, which is great for water conservation, and a variety of other things that we won't get into this video and give you a tech talk on. But what I love about Newmar in their bathroom with this floor plan is there's actually an emergency egress door. So you can open this door and a ladder comes down so you can get out of the coach, which is so much more versatile than just the tiny windows that RV providers give you, because I don't know how many people can actually fit through some of these windows. Whereas this, Newmar's thinking about you and giving you another door to exit the coach. Another feature that I love about the Supreme Aire is their door, their privacy doors, either at the bedroom or at the bathroom, like this one has, because you have some options with this door. When I have it open, I have this huge entryway and it makes it feel open here. But when I need the privacy and I go ahead and I close the door, my guests or anybody that's staying with me, or if I want to watch a movie in the bedroom and my spouse wants to watch one outside, we don't feel claustrophobic. So one of the most important things to our customers in the Supreme Aire and just Super Seas in general is the technology that's on board and the entertainment systems that we have. So the Supreme Aire is very high tech. There's a lot of cool things going on with it. First, I want to talk about this multiplex system that they use. So we're right here at the main home screen that is the entire brain for the coach, and it's going to tell me a lot of things like what's going on with my batteries, what's going on with my holding tanks, and then I can really control most everything from the coach from here, such as my lights, all my slide out controls. I can see from here, I have floor heat controls, water and climate, generator statistics, all that is right here. But not only do we have it here, we have many panels throughout the entire coach and even on the outside of the coach that do a variety of different things that are all connected to the coach. So very technologically advanced from Newmar. Televisions, super important if you're wanting to entertain in the coach or if you want to watch the football game. The Supreme Aire comes standard with 4K televisions throughout. In this particular floor plan, we have this one in the living room, we have one in the bedroom, and then of course one on the exterior entertainment center. All of them come with a sound bar, except for the one in the bedroom. But each television is able to hook up to TV in a few different ways. They all come standard with being able to go over the air TV. We have a park cable hookup on the outside of the coach so you can watch cable television through the RV park. But what really a lot of you are going to be using is satellite TV. This coach comes with our most advanced satellite TV setup we can get, which is the Winegard Traveler Dish, which is a stationary satellite dish that comes up automatically and connects to the most amount of satellite dishes for DirecTV or Dish Network, which gives me HD television and gives me recording capability as well. So for just satellite TV viewing, this thing has all the options. One of the things that's most important to our customers is staying connected to the internet reliably. My wife works for the VA office and she works remotely, so staying connected to the internet is so vital and crucial. And I know it is to many of you out there as well. Many of you are business people, or you just when you're out on the road, you want to be connected and have all your entertainment systems available. And I'm excited to share with you that the Supreme Aire, this one comes with the Wi-Fi Ranger, which is the best cellular internet device that I've seen to date. It has a built-in router, so very robust and reliable. But I'm also excited to share with you that we have Starlink available to us now in the RV industry. So we can hook the Supreme Aire up with satellite internet with Starlink, and it's just been incredible. So many different internet options so we can make sure you and your family stay connected. So I hope you can see that there's tons of technology packed inside of the Supreme Aire that keeps you connected and keeps you entertained. But I want to make a small plug before we move into the cab and go for a drive. I want to talk about IWS for a second, what makes us unique. So I'm showing you our iPad here, and whenever you buy a Supreme Aire from us, we give you a exclusive iPad, and on this iPad we have videos and training videos for how to operate this coach. And on here we also give you a 24-hour, 24/7, 365 phone number that ties you directly to us. So we pay people to be on call for if you ever break down on the road or have a slide that won't go out for some reason. We're going to be there for you as well. Everything that we give you exclusive with IWS. So here we are sitting in the driver's seat of the M2 chassis of the Supreme Aire. And I just want to talk about first impressions when you sit in the seat. Uh, the seating position is excellent and really well thought out. Of course, coming from the commercial truck industry, seating position is important, but Newmar has really changed the game by upgrading the seat. Many manufacturers in the RV space just recover the seat. This is a completely different seat setup from Newmar that matches the same color as the rest of the coach, and I absolutely love these. Great lumbar support. These are an air ride seat, as I may have mentioned before. But you can just tell, even from the steering wheel, they've upgraded this steering wheel. They take the normal Freightliner steering wheel and they upgrade it with the SCI. This is an Italian-made steering wheel with leather and then some of these wood bits here. Much more comfortable. And then I love the carbon fiber styling accents. It really elevates this M2 112 chassis. A really important thing for you to know about the cab is that the JBL sound system is an upgrade exclusive with Newmar. They've done a great job with this sound system. And in the navigation system here, we have Apple CarPlay, which many manufacturers don't offer, or Android Auto. So I love running my navigation and my audio all through my iPhone right here. But if you don't have those things, you can just use Bluetooth, and it has Rand McNally navigation as well. But everything's really well thought out and placed. We have our collision mitigation control system right there. It's in a nice spot to where I can easily see it, but it doesn't distract any of my view. We have nice, big, large sun visors. The mirrors are in a wonderful location for optimal for driving a 45-foot vehicle like this. And I love, finally, just looking out at the hood of the big M2 112 hood. So for those of you that are probably new to the Super C world, you're maybe coming from a Class A. That's maybe why you're looking at the Supreme Aire. This is just a really excellent place to sit at. All right, driving the Newmar Supreme Aire, and want to talk about first impressions. I'm going to be coming at this a little bit if you're new to the Super C market and maybe you're coming from the Class A world, and I think maybe a good reason why you're interested in the Supreme Aire. And I think first you're going to be really impressed with how this drives. It's going to be a natural fit for you coming from your pickup or your SUV or even your van. It really just is a natural transition for a few reasons. The way the seating position is, where the mirrors are, the axles and the hood are sticking out in front of me. One of the key features that I love about the Super C or this Freightliner is the seating position. Me next to my partner is much closer than in a typical Class A. So talking is much easier. This is a very quiet cab. Road noise is very limited. I have the big diesel engine in front of me, but it's really quiet. And honestly, I like hearing the RPMs and hearing on what's going on in front of me. This is a really capable chassis, and engine and powertrain combo. I hooked up my dad's stacker to this the other day and put some of our collector cars in it and towed it around. So I really wanted to see what it was capable of. And this is really composed with, we were close to 20,000+ pounds that day, and it pulls any hill comfortably. When we were filming this video, we drove an hour up into Featherville, Idaho, where we're traveling Highway 55 up curved roads, and we were really leading traffic. We weren't the ones everybody's trying to pass us. Like, this thing It can get up any hill, it can go down any steep grade with composure. It's really quite impressive. Finally, I just want to reiterate to you one more time, just how when you buy this, you can rest assured that there's just no ifs, ands, or buts. Like, there's no compromises. There's no, you got to get a run at this hill. You probably shouldn't tow that trailer. Like, you got to be careful how you load your water. Like, there's none of that with this. There's absolutely nothing to worry about with this. This has all the stopping capability that you want, has all the power that anybody could ever want. It's just really the perfect choice for if you want a destination coach when you're comfortable when you get there, but you want a fun, capable experience on the way there. This really is the right choice. Well, that's going to do it for us today. I hope that you got some information out of this that added value to your life. I appreciate you sticking along with us. I know it's a long video. I want to thank you for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe and give us a comment. We love seeing those. It helps us get better as well. And hey, I just got to add that right now is the best time to buy a Supreme Aire. Right now we have these coaches priced at incredible discounts. There's great rebates available. They're priced in some units are priced in the low 500s, some are in the mid 500s, something that just hasn't been available up until now. So give us a call. We have different floor plans, different color schemes available. I'm sure we have the right Supreme Aire for you. So with that, I hope to see you out on the road.